going on, everybody? Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Coach Noah here. We start right at the top of the hour, so welcome. Let me pull up my slides. Every single week at 1 o'clock, we host this Quickstart webinar. This is where we practice private money lending, best practices, principles. We network, we talk like we're doing right now. Educate, educate, educate. When Stephen Nagy and Chris Naugle came to me and said, hey, we would love for you to host a webinar once a week, I said, great, what's the goal of this? And they said, all we want you to do is to teach people about private money lending. Get the word out, right? And so that's what we do. Folks that come on this webinar routinely, they can attest to this, that we stay sharp. We practice our craft every single week. I'll share something new. Every single week, we do the same exact thing where we practice elevator pitches. We practice being great. And whether you're a borrower, whether you're a lender, you are in the right Zoom. You're in the right room right now because this is what we do. And we have a lot of fun doing it, all right? Let's fly, PMC folks. I love it. Okay, love it, love it, love it. Cool. So let's get into it. I'm going to pull up my slides here. I got some news. Not too much has changed, but we are going to make some announcements and talk about some different things. And of course, if you have any questions or anything like that, I love answering questions and helping everyone out any way, shape, or form that I can. I've also got my co-pilot here, Jose Harkin, is in the chat box. What's up, Jose? Jose is with the PMC team. Jose is with the PMC team. You know what's something kind of cool? I've been doing this, Jose, in my accelerator class. Okay, so I've been doing this in the accelerator class. I don't know if you guys can do it or not. Jose, are you there? Can you, if you hover over your name, Jose, does it say like more and then you have like a little drop down box, and then can you rename yourself? Can you guys rename yourself? If you can rename yourself, go ahead and put if you are a lender, a borrower, or both. Can you change your name? I don't know if we allow that or not on this call. Can you change your name is it working for you guys? Type in the chat box if it's working for you. I think this would be really cool because, I get all my friends and stuff outside of Private Money Club are like, where do you find these private money? Oh, it doesn't allow you to. Okay, all right. Well, we've been doing that in the accelerator course. So let me see if I can make some changes for next week on this call. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Can't change. That's okay. We'll do a roll call here in a minute. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. My name is Noah Harris. You can call me Coach Noah. Every single week we get on here and practice best practices, fundamentals. We practice elevator pitches. We just talk private money lending. Whether you're a borrower or a lender, you're in the right place. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm real big on teaching from the perspective of a real estate investor. So I'm a real estate investor. This is what I do. I almost exclusively use private money lending to fund my real estate fix and flips and other types of deals and like rental properties, wholesale deals, short-term transactional funding, things like this. So I'm teaching from the perspective of a real estate investor that uses private money lending. But here's the deal. I love teaching this stuff. I love helping people because of what private money lending has done in my life. I'm a true believer. I would not be where I am today if it weren't for the relationships that I have with private money lenders and real estate investors. Right? I'm a big believer. Where else can someone put their money to work, have it secured by real estate that's worth much more, right, than the amount that they've got in the deal and make a great rate of return on their money? Where else can a real estate investor go and borrow all the money that they need for the purchase price, for the repair costs at an absolutely fair interest rate and help other people hit their retirement goals, their financial goals even quicker, right? It's a beautiful thing, right? It's win-win. But I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a contractor. I'm not an attorney or anything like that. So here's the deal. I want you to go out and find these people. If you want to be great at becoming, at using private money to fund your real estate deals, you got to have a team. Who's your real estate attorney? Who's your real estate agent? Who's your contractors? Who's your home inspector? You got to have a squad. You're only good as the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And I like teaching this class because I've had friends, people in my circle that have lost money, private money lending. Let's talk about that. They've lost. Why did they lose? Well, lots of times they don't know what they don't know. That's a big problem, right? They see, they come to me, no, it's supposed to be 12 months. It's been 2 years. I haven't really heard from them. What do you mean you haven't heard from them? That's crazy, right? Did you do this, and this? Do you have these documents? No, I only have one of those 4 documents. I didn't think to have the other things that I need. Oh my gosh. Well, did you ask them about this, and this? No, I didn't ask them about that. I didn't know to ask them about that. Oh my gosh. Right? So we're not just going to jump in the ocean here without any education. Anytime I've seen a private money loan go bad, the people didn't know what they didn't know, right? And I'm telling you right now, just because someone has a good Facebook presence, they look like they know what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean you skip a document or you don't ask the tough questions, all right? This webinar is designed to help keep people safe. I'm going to share my experiences and what I see, so hopefully you guys can avoid some of those hurdles and pitfalls. All right, so what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Quick Start webinar. Can you believe it, Jose? This is the 35th Quick Start webinar that we have done in the last 36 weeks. So to celebrate number 35, I've got the greatest goalie of all time, Mike Richter from the New York Rangers, saving Pavel Bure on a breakaway Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Man, here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. This week, every single one of these Quick Start webinars with the Private Money Club, some of you are just tuning in, you're like, am I on the right webinar? It's about putting in the work. It's about practicing. It's about working out. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina right now. I used to be from a little town called Ithaca, New York, Central New York. I grew up in Central New York. And Mike Richter, the goalie right there, he used to come in on the summertime and he would shop at the Wegmans grocery store. And I saw him as a little boy, and his legs were like the size of tree trunks. And legend has it that Mike Richter, the goalie there, number 35, this is the 35th week in a row we've been doing the Quick Start webinar. That's why we got the picture up. He would put on rollerblades and he would roll around, he would skate around the track at the local university, at Cornell University. And it was really tough thing to do. And he would run the stairs. But here's the deal. He was a professional, but he put in so much work and training. He was constantly mastering his craft. And that's what we do on these calls, right? So we're not like professional athletes or anything crazy like that, but we are business owners. We are here we are private money lending borrowers, right? So how often, if you're planning on financing your deals, how often are you practicing your elevator pitches? How often are you staying sharp with what's going on in the marketplace? Hopefully it's every week, right? With us. If it's not every day, it's every week. One of the reasons why I feel like I'm so good at this, if you put me down in front of someone and they're interested in putting their money to work and they don't know how or what their options are or anything about private money lending, I'm going to get them excited about it. I'm going to get them excited to be working with me. And the reason why is because I practice every single day, every single week. I get to host these webinars. You guys know this. We practice this stuff, right? We're great at communication. We understand the paperwork. We understand how to present deals, right? These are the things that we work on, not just every single week on the Quick Start webinar, but I also coach a class called the Accelerator Program for Private Money Club. And this is, we meet twice a week for about 90 minutes to 2 hours every session, and we just grind it out. I give everyone in a very short amount of time everything that I got when it comes to private money lending. So if you're on these calls and you're like, man, I really want to expedite my learning as a lender or expedite my learning as a borrower, look into the class. Look into investing in yourself to help you do really well in this business. If you have any questions about that, you see Jose Harkin there. Jose has links and you can schedule time to talk with Jose, or if there's any questions that you have or want to enroll in something, he can definitely help you with that. I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. Where are you guys from? Put it in the chat box there. Where are you from? Where are you tuning in from? Everything that we're working on is geared towards creating a 100% track record with our lenders, right? How many people can say, I've got a 100% track record? When you sit down with a private money lender, they're going to ask you, hey, how many deals have you done, right? Our goal with all of this education, all these different options that we have for people to learn about how to do this business, is to help create that 100% track record. And as a lender, this is really important. Really important. We got to make sure, like, as a lender, we can't lose. We can't lose, right? Yeah, what makes private money lending great? It's secured by the real estate and things like that. You still don't want to have to go through that process, right? We want to make sure that we're making smart, educated decisions, and these webinars are designed to help you feel confident with the decisions that you are making about the deals that you're doing, right? So we got people from all over the place. This is awesome. I saw Syracuse in the chat. What's going on? Oklahoma, Houston, Jacksonville, Duval. All right, here we go. Here's the game plan. So every single week we start on time, 1 o'clock. We keep it real estate. Private Money Club has all these different opportunities for people to invest in and different things that other people are presenting, right? On this call, we keep it real estate. So if you're on this call and you're like, hey, I want to learn how to fund a fix and flip, a rental property, a short-term rental, an Airbnb, maybe multifamily, you're in the right place. You're in the right space. If you're on the call and you're like, I like real estate, I understand the value of real estate. I don't necessarily want to pick up the hammer myself and deal with all of that like I was doing this morning. We got pictures at one of our properties that's hitting the market this weekend is at 2 o'clock. So it was like all hands on deck. Yeah, your man was scrubbing a toilet this morning, getting a property ready for the market. Hey, how many of you would scrub a toilet if you knew that it would lead to $46,000? That's our estimated profit. Would you? Anyone else willing to get a little dirty, roll the hands up, roll their sleeves up a little bit? That's real estate. That's real estate. All right. Don't get confused, right? We keep it real on this show. If you have any questions at all, put them in the Q&A section. I know there's a chat box there. If it's logistic questions like I need help signing up for this course, I need help getting a ticket to your event in Charlotte that's coming up, anything like that, you can post that in the chat and Jose will help you get those questions answered. If it's a real estate question or a question about what we're talking about, just put it in the Q&A so that I can see it. And I check at 1:30 and before we get off our call at 2 o'clock, I answer questions. Yeah, so PMC teams in the chat, all experience levels are welcome. It doesn't matter to us if you're brand new or if you've done 1,000 deals. This is what it's all about. I love working with people that have a lot of experience, that love helping others that were once in their shoes. And I love people that are willing to take a step out of their comfort zone to do something different to help get a better result. So welcome to every single person here. If you are new, like Seneca just said, if you are new, let me know. Type it in the chat box. Who is brand new to real estate or maybe brand new to using private money lenders to fund your deals? Type new in the chat box. Let's see. All right, cool. Lots of people. All right, I love it. I'm kind of jealous. Jose is probably jealous too. It's cool to see so many new people that are learning about private money lending, early on in their investing careers or just new to private money lenders in general, and like knowing that world exists. For the longest time, I was using hard money to fund a lot of my deals, right? Hard money. What's the difference between private money and hard money? We'll talk about that in a couple of slides coming up, but it was expensive and it can get pretty stressful at times. And when you're using hard money, maybe you're using a lot of your own cash and paying a crazy amount of interest and points and fees and things like that. And then, one or two deals that, come in a little tight, you're like, gosh, this real estate, is this what it's always going to be like? Is it always going to be this stressful? Once you find private money, it just seems like it's just easier, simpler to work with. And here's what's cool, everybody. Right now on this call, at any given moment, I'm looking at right around 80, 90 people. It's going up, it's going down. Usually by the end of it, it's a little bit higher. There's going to be people on here. There's probably, if I were to guess, I'd say 50-50. I'd say 50% lenders, 50% borrowers. So if there's 50 people on here that are interested in lending, if I'm on here and I'm a borrower, here's what you need to do. You just need to find 5. Right? Unless you've got some crazy astronomical goals of flipping 100 houses a year, I would bet you only need maybe 4, 5, 6 people that you can build a relationship with and do deals with over and over and over and over again, right? So you just got to find your fish, right? There's plenty of fish in the sea, but we are fishing in a good pond, right? Right, Jose? Best fishing there is in the private money club. Doesn't matter what you're looking for. What do you think of? What do you think of when you hear private money lender? What do you think of when you hear private money lender? Type it in the chat box. What do you think of when you hear private money lender? Because if we Googled private money, there's going to be a million search results. Maybe we do that one day, right? Chris thinks of hard money when he thinks of private money. Okay, all right, opportunity. Okay, No points or relationships. All right, I like the seeding there, William. That's good sales. I like that, right? Albert says aliens. Yeah, okay. Who are the, Albert says, no, private money lenders. Do they exist? Right? Can you imagine like an unsolved mysteries episode where they're like talking about the mythical private money lenders, like ancient aliens, and it's about private money lenders? No, there's no episode like that because private money lenders are everywhere. There's nothing like mythical about a private money lender. That like we are common everyday people. The problem is a lot of this just isn't taught in grade school, high school, college, or by a financial advisor, right? A person's financial advisor isn't necessarily going to be like, oh, you should take your money out and away from me controlling it and go do a mortgage. They're not going to talk about that, right? So they're common everyday people. Lots of times, if we Google private money, though, it's going to pull up, funds, companies, that's what they do. They lend money, and they're private in the sense that it's not like it's a traditional bank, right? They do non-institutional, as Samuel just said, right? But private money lenders can also just be people, right? Just like you and me. So, and that's kind of what we talk about on this call here. Private money lending. When I mention private money lenders, I'm talking about the relationships that I have with a person, right? And we help create win-win results for one another, which is super cool. Right. Julie says, I'm excited to learn. Chris says 401k holders. Yeah, that could be absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. Let me ask you a question. I'm just curious. For those of you in the chat box right now, how many of you have a 401k from a previous employer? No longer working there. Anybody have a 401k from a previous employer? You'd be surprised how many people in a person's circle or network, friends, family, that have had the same type of career but not necessarily at the same company. And so they have like these 401ks that are, rollover or whatever. I don't know what the terminology is, but they're not doing anything, right? And so one of the things that I made an act of is, aligning myself with financial planners and the right people that understand self-directed IRAs, like some of you are mentioning here in the chat box. And I would introduce those family members, those friends, and those associates that I've met, and I'd say, hey, look, there's nothing I can do right now. I can't help you, but if you talk to someone who's the expert in that field, and they could help you get set up with a self-directed, like Roth IRA, for an example, or IRA, for example, then we could get you private money lending, right? So it's educating people and helping people and that's a big part of it. When I teach the accelerator class and we talk about credibility, I teach 7 steps of building credibility as a real estate investor that wants to use private money lending. And I think it's step 3 or 4 is to educate others. And once you show people that this exists, man, they want to start working with us, right? They want to start working with you. Super cool. I love to see it. All right. All right. So where are we at? Roll call. Let's do it. How many Bigfoots do we have on this call? If you are a private money lender, or maybe not yet, maybe you're brand new, but let's just say this: you love the idea of putting your money to work, having it secured by real estate, and making great interest while you're doing. How many of you just type lender in the chat box? All right, there they are, Jose. I mean, I need to take a picture of this and send it to my friends that think that they have to always use hard money to fund their real estate deals. Isn't it crazy? All right, now where are my borrowers at? How many of you are real estate investors or aspiring real estate investors, and you love the idea of using a person and not necessarily an institution to fund your deals? Type borrower in the chat box. Type borrower. What's up, Brian? Congrats, man. Looking forward to working with you. All right, borrower. I love it. This is fantastic. You can absolutely be both. And you'll see that a lot. So for a lot of people that I meet that are real estate investors, they weren't real estate investors their whole life. Like they had a career before getting into real estate. Like let's just say they worked at IBM or something like that. I have a lender that used to work for IBM, and she's also a real estate investor. But she had these 401ks. She worked there for a real long time, climbed the corporate ladder. that then she got into, after her career there, she got into real estate, but she had her retirement accounts. So she put her retirement accounts in the right vehicle that allowed her to self-direct and figure out what she wanted to do with her retirement. And so she became a private money lender. But then she was also flipping houses for herself. Like that's what she did. So she would borrow money to do her fix and flips, and then she would lend money on other people's projects, right? Which was a lot of people do that, right? Cool. Love it. I love it. All right, so we are here. We do exist. These people do exist. We are not aliens. All right. What's funny is if you aren't in Private Money Club or on these webinars, like you might think we're aliens. Like people might look at you like you've got 8 eyeballs or 8 heads, right? Because they're just not used to it. So if you are a premier member in Private Money Club, type it in the chat box, right? Be loud, be proud. Are you a premier member with Private Money Club? Type yes, type Premier in there. Derek, Jason, cool. Yep, I recognize everyone's names. Hey, Christy. All right, cool. So Premier members, you're fishing in like I think of Private Money Club as a fishing pond, right? Because we're a small group. There might be, I'm not sure how many people are in there now. It's got to be a couple thousand or whatever, right? But it's still a small group, right? The people that are consistently on the webinars, consistently showing up at the events, the money tanks and things like that. Here's what's cool about that. And I tell my friends this that aren't in private money, and maybe someone, if you're struggling with having conversations and getting private money lenders, you're not fishing in the right fishing hole. Like if you took like a fishing pole and you put a worm on it and you threw it out into the middle of the ocean, I don't know if you'd catch anything. It might be days, it might be weeks. You might not catch anything at all, right? Because you're not on the fish. Right? But if we had a small pond and it was fully stocked of hungry fish and we threw the worm in there, boom, gonna get a bite, right? Same thing with Private Money Club. So whether you're borrowing or lending, if you're a lender and you're having a hard time finding someone to put your money to work with on one of their projects and fund their deals in the form of a loan, like, we got to get in the club. We got to get in the club, right? And if you're in the club and you're still like, man, I need some extra help, that's what we're here for. Right? I'd love to coach you. I'd love to help you out. And we do that through our accelerator program. I'm a big believer that every single person on this call, if you are a free member, type free member in the chat box. That you just got your foot in the water, you're testing it out. Or if you're brand new, I know we had a lot of people on here who were brand new to the Quickstart webinar. Everyone, all 100 people or however many people are on this call right now, you should at least have a free membership profile. Okay, so Johnny, Samuel, Don, like we got to make sure that we have a profile set up, like make that your homework assignment when you get off the call here at 2 o'clock. Like just go create it. So you can create a free membership or a free profile on Private Money Club. There are some limitations there, right? I believe you can post in the forum, but maybe not be able to message people directly and things like that. But get a feel for it. When you create your free membership, if you're serious about meeting lenders, serious about meeting borrowers, schedule some time with Jose. I'm gonna have Jose put the link in the chat box right now, right? Seneca's waiting for his meeting. All right, well, Jose is gonna overnight you a bottle of champagne, Seneca. No, I'm just kidding. And you guys are gonna do a tour together, right? So you can schedule kind of like a behind the curtain VIP tour is what I've been joking with Jose about calling it. But he hops on the computer, on the phone with you and gives you a tour and shows you how to make the most of the Private Money Club. And the people that have done that have had, seem to be really enjoying themselves, right? So click the link, schedule the call, just like Seneca did. Great job, my man. What is the website or app for PMC, Michael? You're just gonna click the link there that Jose just posted. Can we schedule a call to bring this amazing information to my community? Yeah, Johnny, I don't know. You could click on the link and talk to Jose or call that number there and see what you could do. That would be cool. Yep. All right. So this is what we work on: credibility, clarity, confidence, community. This is what we do every single week on this call. And the people that I've seen struggle taking the leap, taking the step forward, as lenders, sometimes these are the things that we need help with. Like, be honest. Like, real quick, we're gonna dive into some stuff here real quick. How many of you are like set up, ready to go, but you haven't made a move yet, like as in regards to like lending, right? Or maybe at the same time, you are a real estate investor and you're a borrower, and you know private money lending is the way to go, but you just haven't made the jump, or put yourself out there yet to start having conversations with people. Lots of time, and this is super common. This is so common. When people take my accelerator course, lots of times that's the situation that they're in. Like, we have some people that have done a few deals, some people have made a few loans, but I'd say the most part it's people that are just ready to pull the trigger, but they want to make sure they have clarity around how it's done. They want to make sure that they are coming off as being credible when they're talking to private money lenders, especially if they're brand new to real estate, right? So these are the things that we help people with. And we do that. We work on this on these calls here, and we also work on these calls in our accelerator program. All right, so I show this slide at the very end. I also show it halfway through. So before we dive into practicing our elevator pitches, I'm just going to give you an idea of what's coming up. So we really need to just build momentum on these calls. The people that I've seen do really well, the Derek Millers and other people I see on these calls here routinely, they do well because they take action, and it's not just hopping on one webinar, right? So here's some things that you can do. If you haven't done one of these items yet, go do it. Go do it. So number one, right at the top, we talked about it. Create a free PMC profile. Schedule a blueprint call with Jose and the PMC team, right? Create your profile. Everyone on this call can do that. Easy breezy, especially if you're brand new. We also have, if you are a Premier member, type it in the chat box. How many of you have taken the PMC certification courses? So these courses are complimentary, I believe, for PMC members, Premier members. Has anyone taken those? Yeah, it's good to take those classes. And if I'll show you where they are, maybe at the end of the call, I'll show you kind of like how to find them or whatever. But they're available to you, so go do that. And when you complete them, you should have a little badge that comes up next to your name in the Private Money Club, so you can, when you're having conversations with borrowers and lenders, you can show off that that is a course that you've completed, right? My next accelerator course starts November 4th. November 4th. I got a couple of people in the chat that are already enrolled. Looking forward to working with you. I see lots of my past students on here as well. Hello, everyone. Hey, Christy. Money Tank event in Charlotte. So we've got an in-person event coming up at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, November 8th and 9th, right? Herbert said, I'm waiting to get in the accelerator class. Herbert, if you need to click the link or talk to Jose directly, he can assist you if you need help. All right. Mobile home take action challenge. Oh, what do we got here? So my wife, she's right here, Christy. Every day she's hustling. She teaches people how to buy, sell, invest, fix and flip, rent, manufacture, and mobile homes. Like, that's one of her niches. She loves it. She loves teaching that class. And we have a new class that's going to be starting up. I'm waiting to confirm the dates. It starts in November or December. Maybe Jose, you can let us know if you know the hard dates on that. But she's starting another class here coming up about investing in mobile homes. And then we also got a bus tour intensive down in Atlanta, Georgia with the boys, Mike and Mike, which is December 7th and 8th, right? So so we talked about celebrating some wins. I'm gonna celebrate a win right now. Yes, Christy will be in Charlotte. Yep, my wife will be in Charlotte. So yeah, she's excited to meet you guys face to face, and it's gonna be a good time. All right, so I want to give a shout out to Derek. Derek just took Christie's the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. Derek, if you're in the chat box, say hi. I think you already are pretty active in there, and I'm so proud of Derek. He posted this on Facebook yesterday. Now, if you're on here and you're like, I got to figure out how to lend 10 grand. I'm starting small. How could I even get started if I only got 5,000, 10,000, 20,000? I meet a lot of people in Private Money Club that are like, hey, I've got 10 to 25 grand. Like, that's what I'm starting with right now. But I can't do these big fix and flips and things like that. I mean, I could do a second position mortgage. I could do, but Chris Naugle always says, if you're not first, you're last. And I need a first position. But gosh, where can I find a house that's first position and and is 25 grand or less? There's a reason why Chris Naugle asked Christy Duckett Harris, my wife, to teach about mobile homes. There's a huge need for this, not just in the private money club community with our lenders, but also out in the real world. Affordable housing, I'm telling you right now, this is every time and we don't always do houses that are like when we teach mobile homes or we invest in mobile homes, like yeah, we have trailers, we own trailers in or Christy owns trailers in like mobile home parks, and she's owned mobile home parks and all that stuff. But where I've really fell in love with the mobile and manufactured home business is buying and selling manufactured homes on land. So, and we're gonna get to Derek's example here in a minute, but I'm glad you're on here, Derek, because I'm gonna ask you some questions. But like, there's a whole spectrum of opportunity for money to be made, not just for investors, but also for the lenders. Also for the lenders. All right. So I love this, Derek. Derek said they laughed and criticized my mobile home investment property, and now that it has sold for 2 times the purchase price, now I can laugh all the way to the bank also. I really do this in real life. Don't let these haters keep you from your destiny, because that's what they were born to do. So, oh man, I'm waking up and seeing that post, Derek. That was, I mean, I'm gonna cry. This is the 35th Quick Start webinar we've ever done. I've never shed a tear on the Quick Start webinar, but I am now. I mean, this is amazing. I'm so happy for you, because here's what's cool about this. It's the first one. And now that he's got his system down, everything that Christy talked about, the marketing, the relationships, the team, now it's just dominoes, you guys. So keep an eye out. I have a feeling it's going to be bang, 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 bang. Derek, how much did you don't have to say how much you made, but how much did you pay for this manufactured home? All right. So Derek paid $5,500. $5,500. How many of you in your IBC policies have $5,500 that you would love to make 10 or 12% on doing deals like this with someone that's doing them like Derek? You following me here? Okay. And I'm telling you, there's opportunities, and it's so good to see. So if you're on this call and you're like, I've got my IBC policy, I could do $5,000, I could do 10 grand. Get in Private Money Club, start building these relationships, make posts in the forum, right? Because the more that Christy teaches people how to do mobile homes, the more opportunity there's going to be, right, for funding deals. So there's the education's there, and it's needed, which is super cool. Now, I don't know, Derek, did you use private money on this one? I don't think you did, but did you use private money? Would you have been open to using a private money lender on this deal? I'm just curious, right? Because it is smaller amounts, and sometimes you're like, you know what, it's just easier for me to buy it. Like, we do that sometimes, but is it worth the relationship, right? So, here's some advice, Derek. Next time, it might be worth it to use private money if you didn't on this one, so that you can start building that relationship. And also, so as your deals, because you don't just invest in mobile homes, Derek also is interested in single family houses and things like this. But if you start using private money lenders on some of your smaller things like this, then you can kind of build up a track record, build up a report card that you can say, hey, here's some referrals, here's some other people, and we've used private money lenders X amount of times now. So it might make sense, right? It might make sense to start doing some deals like this, just to start building up your relationships. And let me tell you something about my friend Derek. So for anyone out there that's making excuses, I know none of you are, because you're in the Private Money Club, but out there you got to deal with, as Derek called them, the haters. Is that what you call them, Derek? Yeah, don't let these haters. So, here's the deal. Derek retired from the military, owns a small business on the side. I'm probably going to get all of this wrong, Derek, but retired military, owns a company that cleans hot water heaters, right? Makes them work good. Also has a full-time job in the IT business. Okay, you follow me here? I think he has 4 boys. 4. 3 of 5. Okay, 5 of which, or 3 of which are triplets, right? And I think they're teenagers, if not close to being teenagers. Triplets, right? 13-year-old triplets. Two of his triplets have autism. You follow me? So, and here is so excuses. There's no excuses, you guys. Like I'm telling you, if you take this information, mobile homes might not be your thing. Like I don't know if it is or if it isn't. Maybe you never even imagined doing this, type of thing. But my gosh, what if it was? What if it was? How many deals a month does a person have to do to hit their income goal? And he's doing these little things like this. Now, granted, if Derek has 5 kids, $5,000 profit. That's the grocery bill for like the month, right? So Derek, you got to get out there and flip like a 12 more of these things, to feed those boys. But man, I'm really proud of you. So great job, man. Yeah, no excuses. It's our time. Absolutely, my man. Get out there and do it. All right.
Your real estate business lives and dies by the network and the connections that you make. I mean, after all, your network, well, it's your net worth. That's what you always heard, right? If that's an area where you desire improvement, well, Private Money Club, it's for you. PMC saves you precious time and money by bringing the real estate world, well, right to you, right in the palm of your hand. So get in on the action, like so many others have, by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
All right, cool. So here we go. We're going to get into some elevator pitches. There's things we got to talk about all the time. Like this is risky stuff. So again, I'm teaching from the perspective of a real estate investor, my experiences. Just know that if I say this is what I do, this is how it worked out for me. No real estate deal is ever alike. No real estate deal is ever going to go the same. A lot depends on your education, the deal itself, who you surround yourself with. Before we even start having elevator pitches, before we even start having these conversations, we need to go out and find the real estate attorney. We need to find the title company. We need to get our team in order. We need to get our contractor, figure out who that is, figure out who our real estate agent, anyone that goes into a real estate investment needs to be on our speed dial. They need to be in our phones, right? And a lot of this, here's some advice. A lot of this has to do with the conversations that you have with your lenders. So if you're on the call right now and you are a private money lender, I would be asking people, hey, who's going to be doing the work? What's the name of the contractor? Who's going to be listing the property for sale? Oh, this is a house that you're going to fix up and then refinance and keep as a rental? Great. What's the company that you're going to use to refinance? And what's the mortgage broker's name that you've been talking to at that company, right? I want to make sure that they've got all of these things figured out. Because if they don't have any of this stuff figured out, who's the real estate attorney? Who's the real estate attorney that's handling the closing, or the title company that's handling the closing? Is all this stuff figured out? Like, have they taken the time to lay the foundation before they started asking for funds and resources, right? And this is and if you're on here and you're a borrower and you're new, like something I'm ingraining in like my students that are taking the accelerator classes. There's no like right or wrong time. Like like the argument of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like real estate. I don't want you to get in this like analysis by paralysis where you're like, well, I can't do a deal until I have my lenders, and I can't talk to my lenders if I don't have my contractors and my real estate attorney figured out. And what happens to people is because they don't have the real estate attorney figured out, they never do any marketing, they never talk to anybody about private money lending. And then when they have a deal, because they didn't get all the other stuff lined up, it's like they have to pass, right? So there's no right or wrong. Like we should be constantly building relationships and having conversations with people who could be private money lenders at the same exact time that we are having conversations with people about being our contractors, being our real estate closing attorneys, being our real estate agents. And at the same time, what are we doing? We're also making offers on houses. So we're doing all of these things. There's no perfect scenario where you're doing one and the next thing happens beautifully for you. All right. So what we really want to work on here, guys, in this class here, get your professional set up, right? And then get out there and start having conversations with people and marketing for deals at the same time. Don't just do nothing. Okay. So let's get into the elevator pitch here. Here's the elevator pitch. So, all right. So I'm sorry. I got some questions here. Let me see if I can see what these questions are. Hold on one sec. I have to unshare my screen in order to see the questions. I'm interested in possibly working with a lender. What is meant by 12% interest rate at 2 points? How are the points evaluated in the payback calculations? All right, Tarina, this is a great question. Great question. I'll say it again because I don't know if you guys can see the questions or not. So I'll just say the question again. I'm interested in possibly working with a lender. What is meant by 12% interest rate at 2 points? How are the points evaluated in the payback calculations? Okay, so 12% interest rate, I'm going to guess that this is an annualized rate of return. So 12% annualized rate of return. So what that means is if that's what it is, 12% would be 12% of however much you borrow is what you would pay in interest if the loan went full term, right? So let's just say it's a one-year loan, right? 1 year balloon payment. So at the end of your 1 year, you got to if it goes the whole time, exactly that many days, you would owe the full 12% interest. All right, does that make sense? If this is like a fix and flip type of scenario, and let's just say it takes 6 months, but you're paying 12% annualized interest, then the amount of interest that you would have paid is 6%, right? Because it's half the time, half the interest rate, right? Thumbs up if that makes sense, right? So basically, yeah, so Chris said basically paying 1% a month. In that scenario, yes. And here's the great lesson, and then we'll talk about the points here in a minute. Here's a really good lesson, Tarina and Chris and everybody else on the call. As when you go to communicate how private money lending works, and if you are a fix and flip type of investor, and that's a lot of what I do. A lot of my stuff, when I do a loan and I'm borrowing, I'm typically setting it up on a 12-month time frame. So even though I'm going to probably fix and flip the house in 6 months or less, I just want to make sure that everyone that I work with is comfortable having their money out for at least a year, because I don't necessarily want to work with a lender that's like, I need my money back in 5 months. Okay, I want people that are okay lending, and if it goes a full year, they're really happy because that means they made more money, they made more interest. All right, so a lot of my loans that I set up, I do 12 months is when the amount is due, or of course when we sell it or refinance the property, we pay them back right away, right? But if it went the full term, it's 12%. If it went half the term, 6 months as an example, it would be 6% interest. Here's a good lesson as you're communicating this to people that don't know how all of this works. I like to use 12% interest in my examples for the same reason that Chris probably figured it out. Hey, it's 1% a month, right? Because if I'm explaining to someone, hey, this is simple interest, I don't want to have to like get out the dictionary to explain how the interest works. I want to be able to say something simple that everybody gets. Hey, as an example, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, if we did 12% annualized interest and we sold the house in 6 months, you'd get 6%. If we sold the house in 7 months, it would be 7% that you would have made, right? And then the goal being, after we've paid you back, we've got another property lined up and we can put your money right back to work for you, right? So that's the interest rate explained, right? When it comes to points, so a point is 1%. 1%, you could think of this like a fee, origination fee. It's a cost of doing business. The point cost of doing business. 1 point, 1%, 2 points, 2%. So if you're seeing 2% in points, 2 points, that means 2%. So if you're borrowing $200,000 and the lender's charging you two points, that means 2% of the 200 grand. So that's $4,000, right? So $4,000 is going to the lender, right? That's profit in their pocket, and that's regardless if you have their money for a whole year or a whole day, right? That's just how it works. Is that good? Any questions on that? Now, points are good for lots of times with like smaller types of loans, right? And so if it's going to be a shorter time frame that the deal is going to be getting done in, then lots of times the lenders want, well, I wanted some points because I want to just make sure I'm getting some money, right? I don't want to just do the interest rate and have you give me my money back in 2 months. I want to make sure it's worth my while, right? I hope this makes sense to you. But that's, I think, the easiest way to communicate it, guys, is by using 12% interest, because that's how many months are in the year, and it's easier for people to kind of get the general idea about it. All right. Julie said, Noah, do you pay the interest monthly or at the time of sale? Okay, that's good. Now okay, so we can also pay points, Tarina, up front or when we go to sell the property or refinance, or when the notes due, right? So it just depends. This is a conversation you're gonna have to have with your lender. Does the lender want the points at the end, or do they want the points up front? What do the points up front look like? Well, if it's $100,000 loan and it's 2 points, that's 2%, but they want that up front, that means instead of wiring $100,000 to the closing, they're going to wire 98,000, right? But then paperwork's all going to say 100. So they collected it up front. On the back end, it would just be whatever interest you owe them plus the 2% of the loan amount. This is what they would be getting on their payoff. Okay. Noah, do you pay the interest monthly or all at the sale? It depends. Julie, that's a great question. It depends on what the lender wants. But if I was a lender, I have some lenders that they're just like, I don't want to worry about it. I don't want to worry about the mail. I don't want to, go to the bank. For some of them, they're like, just pay me all at the end. It's easier. It's simpler to keep track of. Maybe for tax purposes, they want to have the interest hit next year as opposed to the current year. Who knows why a lender might want to do one thing or over the other. Okay. So, but that's a conversation. That's what's cool. It's relationship based. If I was a lender though, this is really important for my lenders on the call, right? And then we talk about this in the accelerator class. I would want monthly payments. I was always taught by my mentors. I remember one of my favorite people in the world, Fan Merrill, would say, hey, we want people to feel the pain of writing that check every single month. We want them to be constantly reminded that, we're the lender there. We need to be making our money, right? So, and it kind of helps move the project along too, right? If you're feeling the pain of writing the interest check every month, if you're the borrower. But then also one of my other mentors, shout out to my friend Ralph, super smart guy. We did a deal a long time ago, and on that first deal that we did, I was accustomed to paying at the end, and that's always kind of how we did it. And then my friend Ralph was like, hey, no, I want monthly payments. And he's like, no, here's why. He goes, the paperwork's all set up where if it's all set up where you just pay everything at the end, well, what if something happened to you? What if you were in some kind of financial burden and your life totally was turned upside down and the project never got started, work was being delayed, and the project was going south? Technically, you didn't default because you're not supposed to make any payments until the end, right? But that would really stress me out. So I like to have the monthly payments because if anything happens to you financially, I can start that process of foreclosure if you miss a payment. So if I'm lending money, I like to make sure I have that monthly interest payment. Does it have to be done that way? No, but if I was a lender, I'd probably want it that way, right? That's how I do it anyways. Yep. All right, cool. Julie says it makes sense. Yep. Another question. I have a 150K deal that I'd like to have a lender fund with 10% for a 6-month hold. How can I post this opportunity to Private Money Club? So yeah, I would join Private Money Club. So you can post your deals. If you aren't in Private Money Club yet, then talk to Jose. Click the link, talk to Jose, and get in Private Money Club. What's cool about Private Money Club too, so I'll give you some examples here, and then we'll do our elevator pitch. But I'm going to share these examples real quick, and then we'll do our practice, because we always do our practice, all right? So we'll get to this. But here's what I do. So Tarina asked the question, I have a deal. How do I post it? What should I do, Noah? Here's what I would be looking at. So number one, I post my deals in Private Money Club. I would post my deal in Private Money Club under the deal section so that it pops up. And people are always looking for fresh stuff, okay? So if there's something new, they're going to click on it. And then I would also post the deal as an opportunity in the forum. So there's a public forum, and you can say, hey, new deal posted, here's the link, things like that. Now, I don't know what your experience level is, if this is new or if you've been doing this for a while, but it is important to put together like a package, like what are the repair costs, what are the comps, information about you, right? in the accelerator course next week, I'm actually going to be going through what we call the perfect loan proposal, where I show people a template that helps them develop those things, right? So if you have a deal, you can give it to someone. They can look over who you are, your business, the deal itself, things like this. They kind of start their own underwriting, right? By the way, as private money lenders, you need to know how to underwrite a deal, right? In Accelerator, we talk about, what to look for and the comps and what repair costs, things like this. Like, we can't just lend the money. Like, we got to make sure it's a good deal and a good person that we're giving it to, right? So put something together, because people are going to ask, right? So make sure you're prepared. And then what I do is I also have a website. Some people do, some people don't. I do. On my website, I have a video, and then I have what it's like to work with us, frequently asked questions, and things like this. All of these things combined seems to really get people excited to work with me. And if someone is serious, I invite them on my website to schedule time on my calendar. So then what we do is we have a conversation. We have a 30-minute meeting to see if this is a relationship that we want to pursue, right? So that's what I do, right? That's what I do. And there is a cost to Private Money Club. I'm not sure how much it is now, a couple $1,000. I don't know. Jose can help you out with that. But the way I look at it is it's compared to what I would pay to use a hard money loan. It's a drop in the bucket. And depending on how many deals you're planning on doing every year, the return adds up. Like, if you're looking at, she gave the example of $150,000. I need a $150,000 loan, 10% interest, so on and so forth. Well, if she was going to go with a hard money lender, it's pretty common. I'll just use the example of a local hard money lender in my area. They charge 13% and 3 points. Let's just talk about the points. If you're borrowing 150 grand, I got to break out the calculator here. Odd numbers. 150 grand, and if it was 3 points times 0.3%, that's $4,500. So just in points, if I was to use that hard money lender, that's not even the interest. But I'm pretty confident, and I can't speak for you. I don't know how it's going to go for someone in this group right now, but I'm pretty confident that if I posted a deal and it was a good deal, I could get someone really excited that wanted to fund my deal and do 10%, no points. I'm pretty confident in that I could do that. I don't know if you could. I'm pretty sure I could in Private Money Club. I say that because I have relationships with people that I met in Private Money Club right now. I have mortgages with, and I'm paying 10% and no points, right? And they're thrilled because they're making double digits, right? Double digit interest on their money. So it's just something to think about. All right. I hope that helps. Let's get into the elevator pitch, and then at the top of the hour, I will answer the questions. We got 4 minutes. Hey, look, sometimes with the elevator pitch, you're going to have to give your elevator pitch. You might have 4 years. You might have 4 seconds, right? In our case, we've got 4 minutes. So let's practice this. I like to teach the elevator like it's a real elevator, and each elevators do what? They take you to the next floor. So each of these talking points I look at as a floor on our elevator. And it's really important that you have the mindset that we are not just spewing out information. When it comes to the elevator, we want our potential lenders to be the ones pushing the button. All right. I'm trying to leave people intrigued, wanting to learn more. I'm never just going to say everything I got to say and maybe they like it, maybe they don't. I'm going to stop at the floor. If I feel like someone's not ready to go to hear the next thing, I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm going to leave them intrigued so that maybe next time I see that person, whether it's a week later, a year later, or whatever, they're going to come start asking me about my business again, right? And maybe become one of my lenders. I've had people that I've talked about private money to 10 years ago that came around and were like, hey, are you still doing this? I think I'm ready, right? So you never know. But what is a private money loan? It's a loan secured by real estate. And as you start explaining this to people, one of the best ways I've learned to have someone fully grasp what it is that private money lending is to talk about their own living situation. Hey, do you own your own house? Yes. When you bought your house, before you got the keys, did you sign a big, thick stack of papers? Yes. The bank made you do that, right? Yep. Well, when you're our private money lender, we do the same thing for you. The same thing that you did for your bank, we're going to do for you. We're going to sign a big stack of documents. Everything that we do, just like a bank. Just like a bank. And you can start to see the light bulbs go off in their heads. Figure out in advance what you're going to pay. If you are a lender, figure out in advance what you're going to charge. And have a variance, have a yield, right? What sucks is, in her question there, I have a opportunity, 150 grand, but they want whatever amount. Or I think it was Derek. Derek said, I was going to use private money to fund the mobile home, but they wanted 15%. I just had the cash, so I just did that. What that person should have done, Derek, is they should have had a spread. They should have said, we lend anywhere from 10 to 15%. Each loan opportunity is unique. Then Derek might have been, you know what, 10% doesn't sound too bad. Let me see what's going on here, right? And maybe that deal could have met in the middle. Maybe that relationship would have blossomed. For whatever reason, it didn't. It's okay, maybe next time, right? But I like to give a spread. Each loan opportunity is unique, and then you guys figure out together where you both need to be. Every single time that we do a deal, this is the core four. This is not the end all be all. I do teach more in the accelerator class as far as like underwriting and what we want to see and have and do. But for conversation purposes, here's what we need. We need to relay the information that what we do is very similar to what a bank wants, right? Promissory note, that's the contract. No handshake deals, no verbal contracts. Everything's in writing, prepared by real estate attorneys, prepared by people who know what they're doing. We also provide you with a mortgage lien that gets recorded in the county where the property is located, right? This is what actually gives us collateral as lenders. So we're going to, if you don't pay your bank on your home loan, what are they going to do? They're going to foreclose, right? Same thing, right? We always provide a personal guarantee as well. Lots of these loans are going to be written out into an LLC or some sort of entity. But it is important that the person who you're talking to, who owns that LLC, is also on the hook, right? In my opinion. So I always provide lenders with personal guarantee. And then insurance, just like a bank would want, right? So you're going to, if you have a mortgage, you're going to list that on the insurance. So we're going to list you as the loss payee on the insurance, just like a bank would want, right? Which is good. All right. So, and then the icing on the cake here is we got to remind people too that all the documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional. So it's done by the real estate attorneys, right? Done by the title company, escrow company. So we want to make sure that everything is done by the right licensed business professional, because here's what's going to happen. Some people are going to be like, wow, you're going to pay me 12%. No one's ever offered to, my bank has never offered to pay me 12%. And so where do their minds go? Well, if it's too good to be true, then, it sounds too good to be true. It must be too good to be true, right? Because people are used to hearing in the news, oh, mortgage rates are 6%, 7%. They're supposed to be 3%. People think that 6% is a lot. Yeah, maybe, it's all relative, but like if you're living in the home and it's a 30-year loan, yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's going to add to the monthly bill, right? But if we're real estate investors, these are short-term loans, we're okay with being crazy and paying 12%. So in their minds, they're like, is this real? Is this, what's going on here? And that's when we let them know, hey, everything is prepared and recorded by our real estate attorneys, just like a bank would want, right? And then the whole idea here, folks, no one's ever, and during an elevator pitch, no one's ever going to say, oh, do I make the check out to you? Like, I'm ready to go, right? That's silly. All we're worried about, and I've been driving this home with my accelerator class, all we're worried about is the next step, right? So if I'm telling someone the elevator pitch, all I'm hoping for and going for is that they want to learn more. And then when people are open to learning more and they're like, hey, tell me more about that. Like, what are the next steps? How does this work? That's when we would sit down and have a one-on-one meeting, right? And go over, our business model and everything that we put into our deals and how it all works, right? Kind of go next level. But for the elevator pitch, it's just about creating intrigue, educating people, and getting them excited to sit down with us, all right? All right, cool. It's 2:02, guys. I'm gonna check. Jose's hopping off. He has a tour. He's a VIP tour. I have a demo. What happened to the VIP tour? I think the VIP tour sounds way better than a demo, Jose. But yeah, all right. Thank you for being here, Jose. I'm gonna get you on next week so everybody can put a face with the name. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Manuel says thank you. Absolutely. Let me just check the Q&As one last time, and then we got to head to the bus stop, folks. All right, so I'm going to stop the share. Yeah, Julie says, after origination and closing fees for bank loans, even though the interest rates were less, my rate would have been much higher than stated in the documents. Yeah, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. All right, I appreciate everybody. Hey, congratulations to everyone. Derek, great job, my man. Can't wait to hear about number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so forth. Just getting started, my man. Just getting started. All right, everybody. I'll see you on the next call. I'll see you in Charlotte, North Carolina, November 8th and 9th in person, right? No Zoom filters in person. Just warning you. Just warning you. All right, take care, everybody. I'll catch you on the next call. See you next Thursday.